Welcome to the Jeremy Hill Show. If you're easily triggered, leave now. I'm going to show you a woman who talks about how she got with a man, the perfect man, the man of her dreams type of dude, right? And she couldn't pair bond with him. She couldn't get intimately involved with him because of all the past digglings she had before, basically. So this show is going to be about how casual sex impact the mind of the modern day black woman. How casual sex, multiple sexual partners, make it difficult for them to get into long-term committed relationships, even if they want to. So we're going to cover that today. I'm using this video as a educational video, educational purposes, informational purposes, and I'm also using every clip in this thing for fair use. So let's go ahead and get into it. And you tell me what you think about this subject, gentlemen. Pretty interesting.
So now, as you go through that relationship, it was a total of how much?
4.5 years.
4.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And we talk about how it got to the point to where you're now single and, the relationship ended. Kind of however you want to walk us through how it unfolded and what truly happened.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Please don't judge, because it could get ugly.
This is a learning lesson for everybody.
It is beautiful. Okay. Yeah. So with that whole age difference and all the goodness and greatness, every relationship comes with its own challenges.
For sure.
And with me not having a very strong physical connection to him, one, I read that as not as a flag. I really didn't, because that was something that I used to guide a lot of my decisions prior to him. If I was really attracted to a guy, sometimes I would get intoxicated by that. Like, he was good looking to me, sex was great, but he was this, that, and the third, and just how he looked and that sex was keeping me locked into that thing.
You see what I'm saying? Like, she said she was intoxicated with lust. She was intoxicated with being lascivious. So in other words, she had extreme lust. Whenever she had a man and she was physically attracted to, her cat just got soaking wet and she had to give it to him. And even if she knew he was the wrong type of man, it was the smashing, it was the beating it up that kept her linked to that man. So her body was being pleased and her mind wasn't. Having all these different sexual encounters with different men that you are attracted to, it do impact the mind, or it does impact the minds of women. More so than it does men. Let's continue.
So when that wasn't a thing for us, I was like, this is refreshing. Like, I feel like I can approach sex in that dynamic, normal. I can do this out of a place of love and not of lust. And I had warped that in my head to make me think that this was going to be so good. And I thought that over time, the more I grew attracted to him, it would come around. Like, I would physically come around to it. And we waited for 3 months before we had sex for the first time in our relationship, which was something that was his idea. And again, I welcomed it like, wow,
right?
He don't want no cookies right up front. He taking me on dates and everything, like taking me on vacation and everything.
Yeah.
Like, took me on vacation one time and like we had the same room but separate beds. Even when we would sleep together, like sleep in the bed together, if he stayed the night, he would wear like appropriate clothing so he wouldn't feel like he was putting it on, no pressure. So I was just like, yes. But then, Dre, it just over time, it never came around. Like, that feeling never came around. And so now we're in the swing of having sex, but it's detached. Like, we're doing it, but I don't feel particularly inspired or satisfied. He does, but that starts to wear off too.
You see, so she wasn't physically attracted to him. She was emotionally attracted, mentally attracted to him. But the sex should have been part of that. But she said her sex was detached. The sexual nature that she had was detached from him. It's because she done had so many meaningless flings with other men. She done been on different dinglings. And those digglings didn't come with commitment. It was just men that she was busting nuts on and getting her rocks off on. So when she get a good man who can give her what she needs spiritually, mentally, and emotionally, her body can't identify that. Let me put some facts, data, and statistics on the screen so you can see what I'm talking about. Boom. It says, research from the Medical Institute for Sexual Health goes on to illustrate the importance of oxytocin when it comes to pair bonding. Casual sex leads to a decrease in the neurochemical production and interferes with further pair bonding. Repeated sexual encounters with multiple partners neutralize the brain. The more penises you get put in you, the more times you bust nuts on random people, women, it makes you almost impossible. It makes it almost impossible for you to get into a real relationship without comparing that man to an ex-lover, without thinking someone else could have better sex with you. Let's go to the other one. Now look at this. It says when an individual chooses to engage in casual sex, breaking bond after bond with each new sexual partner, the brain forms a new synaptic map of one-night stands. This pattern becomes the new normal for the individual. When and if the individual later desires to find a more permanent partner, the brain mapping will have to overcome that, making a permanent bond more difficult to achieve. So what she's talking about is, she said her sex was detached because her brain has already mapped out a certain way of having sex with other people. Her mind really overrode itself. It's okay, we're going to have sex. You're going to be having sex with multiple people who you're not committed to, and you're just having one night stands. You're sleeping with Pookie, Ray Ray, and Nook Nook, and all the rest of these guys. Okay, this is how we're going to live our life. So now you have developed the habit of doing that. So when you get with a good man and you know you should be wanting him only and just want to please that man in that way, you can't do that because now you got to rewrite your map in your mind. You got to break that down, start all over, and get used to it. So it doesn't pay to be a hoe. That's what I'm basically trying to say. Let's keep going.
And he basically brings it to my attention, like, do you remember the last time we had sex? And I was like, like a few days ago. And he was like, it was not a few days ago. And I'm like, it could not have been that long ago. And he was like, it was a month. It was a month ago. And I was like,
well,
wow, time flies, doesn't it?
So at that time you had just made up in your mind that this just won't be a part of the relationship.
Yeah.
Moving forward.
Not a big part of it.
Not a big part of it.
No.
And
no.
you had come to terms with that.
Mm-hmm.
And
I had come to
were
terms
okay
with
with marrying him and moving forward, knowing that that wouldn't be a thing.
Mm-hmm. Because again, I was like, this is a good man, Savannah. This is a good man. He is 90-10, not 80-20. He is this, he is that, he is that. Pfft. I done had enough dick. You know, like this is
Bingo. Like I said, she done had enough penis, meaning that she done been on the penis carousel for so long. She done had so many dinglings in her that she cannot pair bond. She cannot be really affectionate or be there for that man in the ways that he needs her to be there. Even though he's like 90-10, sending flowers, doing all this other stuff. She described this man earlier in this clip like almost like Prince Charming, the part I haven't showed you. But I'm looking at this like, the more bodies you get, ladies, it do count. It does matter when you have a lot of different men. And if you look at it, look at the culture pushes that. When you listen to the entertainers, they say, if he don't act right, switch up and take his friend. In other words, jump from one bed to another bed to another bed until you find the right man that's going to give you what you want. By then, you're damaged. Right then, you have so many different miles on your hodometer. So much mileage on your hodometer. It's just a lot of bodies on you. And it'd be too late.
really like, this is really my crazy mindset. But also, and there's no shade to my friends, but my friends had a big influence on it too. Because when I would talk to them, this was also new for me. So I'm like, what am I, girl? I'm not getting.
And they out here in the streets like, girl, you better hold on to that.
Okay, you're like, listen, he is sweet. He is nice. Even when we're around, he's like, what y'all need, what y'all want. He's accommodating. He makes our home comfortable when we receive people. So everybody loved him so much, me included. So talking to them was like talking to his cheerleading squad. Like, shut your mouth, take that coochie in that house and give it to him. Because he deserves it, you know? So, but it wouldn't work. And when he brought it to my attention, like, I felt bad. So now I realize I'm going into a cycle of having obligatory sex with my man. Yeah. Like, I am having sex with him, like, remembering, like, okay, I have to have sex with him because it's been a few days now, and he's...
So now, because she done had so many different men run up in her cooter, she has to make it a chore to have sex with a good man that she says that she loves, a man that is a Prince Charming, to the point where her friends say, man, that's a good man. You better do what you can to please that man. Now she got to make herself, because she's not used to that. She used to smash and dash, hit and run, the excitement, the thrill of having a new penis up in her, a swag that a Pookie can bring to her. She likes the thrill. She like all that stuff. She like the rough type of sex. She like the what's it? The word non-committal sex. She likes that, and she has somehow messed her mind up behind that, and always looking for a good man. Now she got a good man. Now she can't deliver that part of her to him because of all the different men she have slept with.
Deserves it.
It felt more of a chore than an actual desire.
And not to get like too like descriptive, but I even started just only doing it in certain positions because it allowed me to just get through it more. Like a lot of times from the back, because I just didn't have a connection with him in that way, so it would feel very awkward. Only at night. The best sex for a period of time was when I would go out because I done had a couple drinks. So I'm coming home and I'm like, "Ooh, you about to get it, boy."
Mm-hmm.
This woman had to get intoxicated to want to sleep with her man. Think about, I read between the lines, man. Like in the military, they teach you this. They tell you to pay attention to details. And like they say, the devil is in the details. I'm looking at every word she's saying, every sentence that she's saying, and I'm dissecting it. This woman just said she had to go get some drinks and say, "Oh, it's on." She make it seem like, "Oh, ha, 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 ha." But she had to go get drunk, y'all. She had to get some drinks, y'all, to want to get wet enough and put it on her man to enjoy it. And who's to say that when she was putting it on him, sitting on it, and all this good stuff while she's intoxicated, who's not to say that she wasn't thinking about Pookie, Ray Ray, and Nook Nook while she was doing it with the good man?
And it even got to a point where he was like, I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not doing that. You come home, you done had a couple drinks, you feeling real spicy and saucy, because I can tell the difference.
In other words, this gentleman had self-respect, and he got tired of being treated like a rag doll. That would be traumatic to a man. That would be destructive to a man. Y'all hurt men in so many different ways, man. It's just crazy, you know what I mean? And you ruined yourself. You're the problem. You're the problem. Like I was speaking to a lady about 2 weeks ago, and we were sitting down talking, and she said, Jeremy, well, I go by Jay, but Jeremy, she said, I'm starting to realize that the problem is the women, because she had a whole bunch of girlfriends that she know of that's dogging out good men. She said good men, like men that's getting stressed out, that do everything for the woman, and she gets so entitled and just want to run over the man and then cheating on the man at the same time. She said, I used to believe that the men was the problem. This is a woman telling me this. I used to believe men were dogs and all this stuff like that, and I really believe that. My girlfriends used to say that, and I believed it. But as I start being around other women, I'm starting to see it's not that. It's these women, she said. She said these women are messing it up for women who really want to have a good man, but men are afraid to deal with them now because of the abuse that women do. Now, how is a woman abusive to a man? They're not normally physical. You have some women that are physically abusive, but the way that women abuse men is mentally and emotionally and spiritually. Mental abuse, emotional abuse. This is the same thing as a man hitting a woman. Seriously, in my most humble opinion. Like if a man hit a woman, he give a physical pain, but when a woman hurts you, it's mental, it's emotional. It goes into your soul. And we need to have laws against that, just as much as you have laws against physical abuse. Let's keep going.
Have sex totally different. And I was like, none of my tricks, nothing is working. I'm not getting like psychedelically tricking him into like, this is okay. And it went on like that for a long time though, to the point where like he said to me like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Like if I'm doing something wrong, why don't you just tell me? And I was like, I can't tell you because I don't think you're doing anything wrong. Like you were putting your best foot forward. I just am not. It's just not working for me. So it was hard. It was very hard. Like I would literally pray, and probably shouldn't have been praying to God to fix the sex in my non-married relationship. But I just loved him so much. And this was, like I said, the first man who earned my love in the most beautiful way possible. And why couldn't I perform for him?
Yeah.
Like of all the men that I should have tucked these cookies in.
Catch what she's saying. Pay attention to details, ladies and gentlemen. That lady said, Out of all the men that I should not have given my vagina to, who did not deserve it, but I did give it to him. Why is it the man who has earned me, the man that I should give it to, I can't give it to him? Let that sink in for a second. She was able to get hot and horny for men who were garbage to her, that didn't work out. Bad boys, thugs, Pookie, Ray Ray, Nook Nook. She gave it to him knowing that she shouldn't have given it to him. But now she got a man that earns it, and she can't get the thrill. The thrill is gone. Like what is that blues singer used to sing? The thrill is gone. The thrill is gone for her. She can't give it to a good man. She has mentally programmed herself to only give it to dudes who are not good. Let that sink in, man. Ladies, let that get in your skull. What I just put on the screen about the brain mapping, creating a certain premise that you have to go by when you sleep with somebody. She is so programmed by sleeping with toxic men that her brain only accepts sex with toxic men. Let that sink in your mind, ladies. All that high body count, hot girl summer, I'm bougie and savage is destroying you. And then you have the nerve to say, where are the good men? They're there. You don't want them. And when it's time for you to want them, you have an inability to please them.
Though, to the point where like he said to me, like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Like if I'm doing something wrong, why don't you just tell me? And I was like, I can't tell you because I don't think you're doing anything wrong. Like you were putting your best foot forward. I just am not. It's just not working for me. So it was hard. It was very hard. Like I would literally pray, and probably shouldn't have been praying to God to fix the sex in my non-married relationship. But you know, I just loved him so much. And this was, like I said, the first man who earned my love in the most beautiful way possible. And why couldn't I perform for him?
Yeah.
Like of all the men that I should have tucked these cookies in for
sure,
he's not one. The gate should just be flying open for him. And so I would cry, I would pray, like, God, please, like, just when I wake up in the morning, just fix it, like, fix it, fix me. Like, it's the ghetto, it's the bad things, it's all the bad experiences, it's my negative association to sex. And like I had, you know, unfortunate situations with sexual abuse in my life, and I'm like, whatever those things are that are having this bad influence on how I used to think about sex and who deserved it, please take that away from me, because I wanted to do this for him like so badly, and it broke my heart that I could never do it for him. Never do it for him. I'll never forget the day we sat on our couch in the living room and he was like, I just want to have a really honest conversation with you, and I just want you to like tell me exactly what it is. Like, not this cute answer, not what you think I want to hear, none of that shit you've been telling me that you're working on it and it's just you and you in your head and all that. Like, for real. And I told him the truth that like it's a disconnect. Like, I'm not naturally attracted to you in that way, and it's probably nothing that you could do about it. And his face, it was like, you remember Mortal Kombat when he would go in the chest and snatch the heart out? That's what I felt like I did. In this whole be honest with me, I was like, the man asked me for honesty and I gave it to him, but I don't think that that's what he was thinking I was going to say. And that was pretty much the beginning and the end of our relationship.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, that was tough. That was tough because then the weird part, not technically weird, but weird for us, that was when the whole open relationship dynamic was introduced, and almost as a means to save our relationship. And in the moment, I didn't think that that's what it was, but I later learned that that was like
last ditch effort
and
So she did what a lot of other women do too. She tried to rescue this relationship by bringing other women in the bedroom or other men or other people in the relationship. Now, that's what you like to do, and both of you are into that. It should work out. But this was a situation where it wasn't working out in the beginning, and they tried to save it by bringing other people in that relationship. But at the end of the day, ladies, if the man wants you, no matter who you bring in there, the other women can't take your man from you if he really wants you and y'all just having sex with multiple people in the bedroom. It's like, sometimes sex is basically like a vice, like smoking a cigar, like drinking scotch, like whatever you do as a vice, a thing of pleasure. But you don't get no emotional attachment to these people. Some of you do because you're silly. But if you're sleeping with these people, these extra people, to try to save your relationship, you're ruining your relationship further, because there's some fundamental issues there that needs to be addressed. And bringing other coochie and other pipes in there is not going to fix that. It's not.
Really, really, really bad effort, because it pretty much tore us apart. It was one of the, I wish we had never done it. I don't have a lot of regrets about anything in life. That's one thing I very much wish we never did. For sure.
Ain't that something, y'all? All that parabunding. Can't even parabund, can't get in a good relationship with a man, can't hold a relationship with a man, simply because you too busy jumping from penis to penis to penis to penis, ladies. See, men, it affects us differently. It don't affect us the same way it do you. But you keep saying things like, well, men do it. Men are different in every way. It's like you saying, well, I see cats do this. I see pigs do that. I see bears do this. I see birds fly. I want to fly. I want to jump off the roof of my house. I'm going to flap my arms and try to fly. Why? Because birds do it. Birds can do it. Why can't I? Do you see how foolish you sound? You can only be who you are. You can only be what you are. Some things you can change about yourself, but you are who you are, especially when it comes to biology. You get what I'm saying? So I'm going to end this one. I have a live stream today at 5:15 Central Standard Time. Again, that's a live stream. It's going to be a reaction video live stream, 5:15 Central Standard Time. And the topic is the rise of black women marrying white men. I think this will be a very good topic for everyone. I have different ethnic groups who have subscribed. So I encourage all of y'all to come in and chime in and tell me what you think about what we're going to be talking about today. I greatly appreciate it. And thank y'all for helping me reach 9K in subscribers. I'm over 9,000 right now. We're going to get to that 10K pretty soon. Y'all take it easy now, you hear?